Have you also studied the wrong thing? I studied to be a teacher of Spanish and a sociologist of culture. So, two different things that I was supposed to do after finishing my studies. And yet there was something in me that just told me that no, that's not where my place is. It was really, really difficult to move away from what I was studying for because I've made a decision. I invested, in my case, 8 years of study because I went from this to this to this and I studied abroad. And so 8 years of study. And now I finish. And within a year, I knew that this is not what I'm going to be doing. And it can be disheartening for yourself because it can be a shocker when you figure out that what you've studied for is not what you want. Maybe you figure out that you've been misled of what is needed and you figured out that what you want to do or what you studied for is not needed at all. Or maybe you were told that this is really good for you, that you should be going and pursuing that particular career. And then you figure out like, ugh, that's not what I want. So for instance, I had a client recently. She is a brilliant young lady. She's about to finish her studies. And while she's writing her final thesis for her master's, she realized like, oh, maybe that's not what I want. Yikes. So of course, finishing that study was a really big thing because there's expectations. If you don't do it, then you have a different type of grading in a job market, all of that stuff. So she came to me and she said, Neja, I think I studied the wrong thing. So we said, okay, let's take a look at why do you think that's the case? And not looking from, why do you think that's the case? Why do you think you studied the wrong thing? But going really from this curiosity of like, ooh, curiosity glasses on and going like, ooh, you think you studied the wrong thing? Amazing. Let's take a look. And as you trickle down, going through the journey of why do you think you're studying this or you have studied the wrong thing, you might come to conclusions like many of my clients do. It doesn't really give me the joy anymore that I want to. I figured out that it's not doing what I wanted to do. For instance, I noticed that a lot in women who studied law, and then all of a sudden their ideals just kind of crumble and they go like, oh, I want to get away from that thing because it's anything but about the justice system, in their own words, and on and so on. Or the number of times that I heard of women who studied medicine or architecture, all of those big traditional, traditionally very respected choices, career choices. For instance, also teaching. That's also something that you go like, yeah, I studied a long time for something, and now what? So when we peel back, what is it that really, really pulled you into this career decision? Go back, give yourself the permission to dream backwards and going like, what was the thing that really made me sign up for law, or maybe really made me sign up for teaching, or really made me sign up for, let's say, medicine? I bet there is some type of, I wanted to help people in doing XYZ, or I have a really big talent in XYZ. And really go back to that dream and remind yourself of this beautiful spark that you were pursuing in that particular moment when you were deciding for a certain career. And just give yourself the permission to enjoy the fact that you made a decision out of this inner longing for something really beautiful. And when you're there, take that particular longing and look at the world around you from that particular perspective. And I hope that you will see a different array of possibilities. In my case, I wanted to prove that learning is fun. So that's why I wanted to become a teacher. And I still remember the moment that I decided I'm going to be a teacher. I was in the 5th grade. I was 12 years old. And I could not understand why everybody around me, like my peers, were just saying, oh, learning, it's so boring, blah, blah. And I couldn't understand. Like, I found learning so cool. For me, it was a detective endeavor. Like, ooh, I don't understand this. Ooh, I will look under the surface. Ooh, 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 I can discover this and this and that about the world. Isn't that amazing? And then when I shared this enthusiasm, people were like, you're weird. Yes, I was a local nerd, and I'm okay with that. I did my own work in inner healing about you're a nerd, you're strange, we will bully you. I'm past that. But what I remember is the determination that I felt in that 5th grade when I looked around my classroom and everybody was like, I said, no. I'm going to prove that learning in that moment, it was learning Slovenian because I wanted to be a teacher of Slovenian. I will prove kids wrong and make sure that they understand that, learning can be so much fun. I ended up becoming a Spanish teacher. First, I went actually to study to become a Slovenian teacher. And after a year, I realized that just pursuing a study that doesn't fulfill you is really bollocks. So I moved to something more refreshing in that particular case, and that was sociology of culture in Spanish. And still, it gave me so much. So when I finished, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to, make sure that my students learn with love, with this enthusiasm. And I started teaching, and then I realized the system is looking at me weird when I pursue this longing of offering the process of learning through a fun perspective. No, it's too much fun. They're not learning. Oh no, your methods are weird. Even though my students were always saying, Nisha, we're always learning so much with you. So at that moment, I decided that I need to see if this educational system is actually something where I can thrive. Through investigation, it was again a no. And I was like, oh my God, now what? And that's what brought me to start my own business and establishing this learning channel, this teaching channel, if you will, under my terms. But boy, was it a journey? Was it a journey of I studied the wrong thing? Or was it a journey about I studied something that I thought would bring me XYZ, but it's not? Now what? So throughout all these years, I was pursuing this longing for learning. I was pursuing this, how can things be easier? How can things be fun? And how can I enjoy the process of change? And that's what it is that I'm doing today. So back to you and your own experience. Trickle it down. Remind yourself of why were you drawn to this particular career at the first place. Even though right now you might think, this is not what I want. I just want away from it. But go to the core, write it down, and then look at the world around you through that particular filter. And I hope you will find something way more nourishing for you. And if you need help on that particular journey, I created a career choice kit for curious women like you that you can download and start learning, start investigating, putting your curiosity glasses on already today. And let's get this party on. I'll see you next time.